All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to First Alert Weather Extra on this Friday. I'm Channel 3 First Alert meteorologist Tyler Hughes, and today is a hot coffee kind of morning. I hope you have a warm drink with you as well. Low temperatures this morning were 5 to 10 degrees lower or more than they were that time yesterday. So we started off this morning in the 30s and 40s for the most part, and it's shaping up to be a relatively mild day. Temperatures will end up below average. So let's talk about it. And let's start with our weather headlines for the morning. Today, the good news is the wind that we had yesterday. Yesterday there was a bit of that nuisance breeze all day long. That will calm down today. We do still have the chance for an isolated sprinkle in the afternoon, but much like yesterday, most of us will likely stay dry. The weekend is looking good, a bit on the cooler side, definitely cooler than average. We'll have some chilly nights, low temperatures in the 30s once again, and we'll have some cool afternoons with temperatures in the 50s. And then next week starts off dry, a bit cloudier and certainly cooler. And then toward the end of the week, we have a chance for some showers that work into the mix as well. I'll talk about that more coming up here in just a few moments. But first, something notable in the almanac today. Today is the first day in Hartford that the normal high temperature has dropped to 60 degrees. The last time the normal high temperature in Hartford was 60 degrees was all the way back on April 14th. So sure is a sign of the times that the average high temperatures are dropping off quite a bit. And Halloween next week, too. Hard to believe that. So here's where we're headed this afternoon. High temperatures in the upper 50s to just around 60 degrees. Hartford, downtown, you have a good shot of hitting 60. Same the farther south you go, the closer you get to Long Island Sound. So Bridgeport, New Haven, if you're right along the coastline, you'll likely hit 60 degrees. Some of our usual culprits for cooler spots, the northeast and northwest hills of Connecticut, will probably more likely be in the mid-50s, or even in the Northwest Hills, some folks will be in the low 50s for high temperatures today. Nonetheless, a calmer wind today, as I mentioned, and just that chance of an isolated sprinkle or shower. Now, could we use more rain than that? The answer is yes, and the answer is yes pretty much across the state, too. Let's take a look at the precipitation totals right now. We're looking at the departure from normal, or the departure from average, for the Hartford area and for Bridgeport. In just October, we're more than an inch below average for where we should be. Since September 1st, which of course is the beginning of meteorological fall, we're over 2 inches below where we should be in terms of rainfall. Once you get to the year level, things change a little bit. We're actually slightly above average in Hartford, but in Bridgeport, we are well below average, over 12 inches below where we should be precipitation-wise. And so we get an update on the drought monitor every Thursday at 8:30 a.m. I posted this update on my Facebook page yesterday. And by the way, if you're not on my Facebook page, go find me there, Meteorologist Tyler Hughes. I post regular weather updates and other kind of fun things, like a walk in the woods I did a couple days ago. Regardless, the majority of Connecticut is abnormally dry at the moment. That is not a big change from the last couple of weeks of the drought monitor. And also not a big change, but still something of note, is that part of the state is in a moderate drought where you see that lighter tan. So Futurecast shows today just a few isolated showers after about 4 or 5 o'clock or so. If you see one of these showers, it would be a quick 5-10 minute sprinkle, nothing more than that. No significant measurable rainfall out of these. And they clear out by the time we get to tomorrow. And tomorrow is looking like a mostly sunny day all day long. High pressure that moves in is going to keep some of those showers at bay. So, low temperatures this evening, very similar to early on this morning. Upper 30s to just around 40 degrees. Again, the closer you get to the water, the closer you are to that 40-degree mark. And also downtown Hartford, I think you have a good shot of ending up around the 40-degree mark tonight. Some of us could even drop into the low to mid-30s, which is hard to believe for this time of year. Friday Night Lights, if you're headed out, our game of the week is Pearson Park. Mike Slifer will be at his alma mater, Cromwell High School, for a great day at 9A, which will be fun to see. But the game tonight, weather should be all good. Temperatures in the 50s to start with some clouds around, and eventually, as you head toward the end of the football game, those clouds will begin to clear out, and temperatures will be in the 40s. So you may need that stadium blanket or that sweatshirt if you're headed out to see some Friday Night Lights tonight. So this big blue H, high pressure that's moving into the northeast, is the reason why we kind of kick out the disturbance that's given us the chance for sprinkles and showers the last couple of days. And so That moves in, that stays there for the weekend. So both tomorrow and Sunday are looking good in the weather department. Temperatures will be below average, certainly. So middle to upper 50s with chilly morning starts in the 30s. And then late in the day, Sunday, clouds begin to increase. And that's ahead of our next sort of trend that we see into the beginning of next week, which is a cloudier and even cooler trend than this. Low temperatures, or high temperatures rather, at the beginning of next week will be in the low 50s. Allergy forecast is looking good. Pollen counts are low the next couple of days, so if you have any outdoor activities planned, you should be good to go. Maybe you're trying to rake up some of those leaves. Well, with the wind dying down, you should be good to go. Again, aside from an isolated sprinkle this afternoon, A-OK for any leaf raking you have to do. If you're leaf peeping, also good for that. In fact, we are approaching peak across much of the northern half, 2/3 of Connecticut right now, especially in the northwestern and northeastern hills. We are forecast to reach peak over the next week or so here. I'll show you that here in the forecast. Here you go. We are forecast to reach close to peak within the next week in the northwest and northeast corners of our state. So we love seeing all your beautiful foliage pictures. Keep sending them in to us on the free First Alert Weather app. So here's the deal with rain chances. They stay low, and we really do need the rain, by the way, but they stay low through the middle of next week. And then toward the middle end of next week, and I know this is a bummer with Halloween on Friday, that's when we start to enter into an unsettled pattern with more rain chances. And the trouble is, since we're so far out, there's still a lot of uncertainty as to how this is going to play out. So what I'm going to do is show you two of the different models that we use as meteorologists. The one on the left is the GFS. You probably know it as the American model. And the one on the right, it says ECMWF. That stands for the European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecasting. It's the European model. So there's a lot of talk out there about the American model versus the European model. This is kind of a side-by-side comparison of that, okay? So look how they're similar, right? They're both showing some kind of rain Wednesday. The European model may be leading on to some heavier rain on Wednesday. The GFS, maybe some lighter rain. And on Thursday, they flip-flop a little bit. The GFS showing some heavier rainfall. The Euro may be leaning into some heavier rain on Wednesday, but lighter rain on Thursday. And so that's why there's a little bit of uncertainty. It's harder to say this early out. But what I can tell you is both of the models are showing unsettled weather. And so that's the trends that we latch onto, 7-8 days out from an event like that. So we'll keep a close eye on it here in the weather department. Keep in mind, we've also been keeping a close eye on the tropics. Tropical season continuing through the end of November. We are now on the 13th named storm of the season, Melissa. No other areas that we're watching in the tropical Atlantic at the moment. But here's Melissa in the Caribbean Sea, still a tropical storm. After quite a few days, it became a named storm on Tuesday. Hasn't strengthened much since then. But one thing that I want you to notice about Melissa is that it's only moving at 1 mile per hour right now. And earlier on in the morning show, it was completely stationary in that update. And this is going to be a problem, especially for places like Haiti, Jamaica. When I put the tracker on it over the next couple of days, notice in the warm waters of the Caribbean Sea, this thing strengthens, and it strengthens quickly to a Category 4 major hurricane with maximum sustained winds of 140 miles per hour by next week. So next week, Jamaica, Cuba, could be looking at a major hurricane, either making a close brush or making landfall. So we will continue to keep a close eye on this for you. Let's take a look at the extended period as well, because we are trending wetter than average in the 8 to 14-day period. Remember, that's a good sign. You may not like, the rain. You may not like having to break out the umbrella and the rain jacket, but we are abnormally dry, if not in a drought status across parts of the state right now. And we're trending around average, if not slightly below average temperature-wise in the 8 to 14-day period. So that's not the week to come, but the week after. So things to keep in mind as we look forward to that period. So here's the First Alert 7-day forecast. Keep in mind just the chance of a very isolated shower later on this afternoon. Most of us will be totally dry. Then the rest, we are all dry all the way until the middle of next week. Temperatures are well below average for this time of year. Keep in mind the average high temperature around 60 degrees today. We'll be in the low 50s by the time we get to the beginning of next week. Temperatures along the coastline are fairly similar as well. And again, keep in mind that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday time period of next week is when we can expect some showers and some breezy conditions. All right, so that is your Friday morning edition of First Alert Weather Extra. Remember, you can always stream us on Roku, Apple TV, and Fire TV. It's an extended look at the weather. It just lets me yap on about whatever I want to talk about. We'll be streaming live weekdays at 8 a.m. and again at 9:30 p.m., giving you an in-depth look at that forecast. So I hope you'll tune into the next episode. Until then, have a great Friday.